What up, guys? Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. To kick things off, we are on xrpcharts.ripple.com looking at the network topology of the entire XRP ledger. Roughly 800 plus nodes currently. You can see the uptime, and of course, with distributed systems, it's obvious that these are the future. They will be integrated and are already integrated to a certain degree with the current financial system. Ripple thought, just like the internet was built with a top-down approach, starting off with maybe just a few governments or a few universities, and such as Ripple starting with some of the bigger banks, they do a top-down approach and eventually will begin to interoperate with some of the wholesale and even retail financial applications of today. This is happening, this has been being developed for quite some time, and keep in mind, we already have the internet of data and information. This has happened decades ago, thanks to the internet boom and a variety of other things in telecom. But today, the value transfer is very, very inefficient. Last time it was essentially updated was 40 to 50 years ago regarding international payments, specifically the correspondent banking network. Many people don't understand what XRP is actually aiming to do, and I think the software name for it, On-Demand Liquidity, ODL, sums it up very nicely. So, if you guys want to learn more, or if you just learned what XRP was, I encourage you guys to come to sites like this, go to ripple.com, or even go to xrpl.org. The XRP Ledger website gives you a great, explanation, super basic, and then you can actually learn and delve in more if you'd like. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room before getting into some rapid fire news on coinmarketcap.com. Bitcoin, congratulations. I know I said this Friday, but again, this asset is retaining a market capitalization of roughly $1 trillion, the first crypto asset in history to do this, and the market is still roughly holding 1.74 trillion. Of course, the new weekly candle has just started, so all eyes are on the market. I know the higher we go, the more valid concerns are with potential corrections and pullbacks, which will come eventually. Obviously, we've been going parabolic lately in terms of Bitcoin. Since March 2020, we are at $3,000 to $4,000 per BTC. Also, we can see that Tether, all eyes are in this. If you go to coinmarketcap.com or however you decide to track Tether, you can watch the circulating supply at all times. We're at 34.25 billion. Let's see if this grows. I know last week we're at 33, maybe 32. Every time the Tether supply prints, the markets usually pump. Sometimes it will artificially inflate Bitcoin's price and pump it, or maybe it'll pump up the altcoins. Typically, when Bitcoin kind of pulls back, sometimes like now, it could actually put more volume and money into some of these altcoins and push them up higher as well to kind of get some more juice in the system. And historically, just as a preface, because I know it is a valid concern to expect massive pullbacks, even if it is a 50% correction, throughout history we've seen even 70% and even 90% pullbacks in the crypto market. Now, will that shake me out? No, absolutely not. Every asset that I buy, I have vetted. I've done serious research on. They are much more than just a white paper. They have years of developments, partnerships, ongoing, developments to the code you can see on GitHub, things of this nature. So I'm watching this, I understand the risks involved, and investing in crypto to me is already risky enough. The upside potential speaks for itself, and there's many assets that have gone up 10x or even 20x plus in the past 6 months at the very least. And of course, XRP, I'm not losing faith. I've been here, I've seen all I need to see. I'm going to be holding for the long term. Most people are probably capitulating, meaning that they're giving up their XRP and going into other assets now. And in my mind, that may have been smarter to do as a swing trade earlier on. But of course, you're always able to make sense of it after the fact. You're kind of looking in the rear view mirror after you're driving and make sense of the market. And right now, the chart is coiling up. Of course, with the lawsuit, we're expecting another push. Is it plausible to see XRP get that push to $1 to $2 once again in a quick, period of time? Yes, absolutely. But I wish it did it much sooner, per the fibs. And there is a potential of even a pullback if Bitcoin does in fact come down to that 30K region, if not more. So I'm not going to rule that out. But ideally, I'm looking at a lot of assets that have not done the massive moves that ADA has done, that Ethereum, that have AVAX, QNT, HBAR, a variety of assets. So keep an eye on that specifically. And I'll give some more commentary about that in the future. Now, I know we touched on this last week. If you have not seen this video, I encourage you to go check this out. This came out on February 18th by Bank XRP. Now, this gentleman is actually James Wallace, the vice president of Ripple X. There are some very exciting things and commentary that he provides in this actual podcast. I know we went over it briefly, but just to kind of touch on this, of course, the links are in Bank XRP's video description. And we can see Philip actually shares this as well for us. So, RippleX is looking to grow the community around XRP. RippleX is another funded, essentially, organization that is looking to build SDKs and on-ramps to the XRP ledger, not to any other crypto, guys. Ripple, the company, is of course focused on utilizing RippleNet and utilizing XRP for on-demand liquidity for their clients. We can see right here, across times we have developed several use cases. Remittances, again, allowing people to send money internationally to their families or send back home. We have the line of credit for cross-border payments, which will be growing. This is specifically XRP, it is nothing else. It is allowing them to buy XRP on credit, essentially buying with a credit card. So it allows these smaller SMEs to scale properly. It's not for every client, but this is a niche, excuse me, I can't talk, like a niche issue, a niche market, I should say, to solve a lot of issues for some of these small groups that can't scale or don't have all the pre-funded money that a lot of these tier 1 banks have, such as JP Morgan. Also, on-demand liquidity, that is one single use case for XRP, people. That's a $10 trillion market issue. So on-demand liquidity, obviously, provided liquidity grows, regulation is favorable, and it keeps expanding. We've only done $2 billion in notional value, $2 billion. And their projections in the future, even just recently, were saying that we are going to hit $750 billion. So per just ODL volume alone. That is not even considering the multiplier effects and reduced supply of you and me holding it, of course, even institutions able to custody XRP. And why am I speculating on that? Because US banks can officially hold crypto. We also know that Signum Bank, which is partnered with, we talk about the Swiss Digital Exchange. We talk about SBI's little VC, or their, not VC, their JV, their joint venture they're doing. There's a lot happening behind the scenes. Now, VC Trade of SBI can even lend XRP. It's not just Ripple, people. This is a huge, huge ecosystem. So please pay attention to that. And then also addressing that their volume of transactions grew 12 times since 2019. I am not leaving my investment when the fun is just getting started. Now, is there anything wrong with buying other assets in the meantime? No, absolutely not. As I share, I own about 30 plus assets, but I am not giving up on my XRP. It is one of the oldest and most sound in terms of fundamentals in my mind in this entire space. And notice, per the quote, we have about 700 customers, payment companies using RippleNet. What do you think happens when more of these clients start using on-demand liquidity, specifically XRP, to source liquidity between central bank digital currencies? It's up to you guys. I'm not going to try to convince you, but please decide for yourselves. Do not act out of emotion. Sleep on every decision, and just pay attention to the ongoing developments with whatever you decide. Because I believe that when clarity comes, when settlement comes, and hopefully it's this year and it does not get dragged out, the glass ceiling above XRP price will disappear forever, and it's not coming back. Also, to kind of speak on this, so this gentleman, great following the XRP community, and he kind of touches on a few things. I'm going to be brief here. So VP James Wallace, specifically regarding the idea of a cloned XRP ledger for central bank digital currencies, and why this is a rather genius and great idea for XRP. Now, every time this is brought up, there's fudsters, people that are terrified and give, fearful conspiracies, and also I know there's Moonboy conspiracies too, but this is actually a good thing. Please understand that Ripple, the company, is very strategic with what they're doing. Just like Coinbase was valued at $8 billion. We know that they are recently having a private valuation of $100 billion. Ripple, in the past, around the same time Coinbase was valued at $8 billion, Ripple, the company, was valued at $10 billion. What do you think happens in the future if they continue to scale and do, in fact, become the Amazon for payments? Not just e-commerce and goods, but transferring value in every single way. They're going to expand verticals. It'll go way beyond just on-demand liquidity. They're already expanding into lending. They're working with NFTs. They're working with smart contracts with Flare networks. The overall thought and mindset on XRP overall is very, very negative, and that is why I continue to buy and hold my XRP. If there was something fundamentally wrong, I would leave. Of course, the allegations of the SEC are very serious, and it could end up unfavorably. But due to what I know, due to what I've seen, due to the representatives of Ripple's board as well, I see it coming in their favor, regardless of whatever the US decides. All right, so right here, central banks are happy and willing to go forward because they get the amazing attributes of the XRP ledger, but they also control it because they would like perhaps a private version. You really think they want to be 100% public to the entire public being able to see everything? No, they want to have trade-offs. So there's going to be open systems like the XRP ledger, Ethereum, every other system that will interoperate with private blockchains for some of these central banks. It's just one example. Or maybe there's, IBM, and maybe IBM will have a public-facing open blockchain that's permissionless. Everybody can see certain things, but they're also going to have privacy features and certain blockchains that are closed off. Maybe there's going to be a specific IT department, and they have, a certain key to access some of that information. Or maybe HR will have another key to access can't even talk, access that information as well. So things of that nature, guys. Speculating on this is trying to speculate what the internet would become, 10 years from now. It's just going to keep going and growing exponentially. So these central bank digital currencies will be fully interoperable with the actual XRP ledger. There are many rich features of the XRP ledger. XRP is just one single component, and the other benefits essentially drive even more demand to XRP. Yes, this means XRP will be the middle of central bank digital currencies, and I'm speaking, and ideally, I just want them to be providing, on-demand liquidity in terms of wholesale interbank transfers. That's where the big money goes, and of course, as it becomes more liquid, XRP sending the velocity of money, I believe Jevons paradox takes place, and then they're able to send higher transfers as well, higher transactions. Instead of a $10,000 transaction, which is small in the means of banking in terms of international wholesale transfers or settlements, we're talking, 5 million, 10 million, 2 million. What do you guys think happens when that is happening over the order books of some of these ODL exchanges? Well, the arbitrage opportunities will not last forever, and then eventually they all have to keep up, and the price will find equilibrium at a much higher price. Now, could this take a while? Yes, but I am not leaving with that type of upside. Also, this allows CBs, central banks, to control their monetary policy when they want to transact with another central bank digital currency, Bitcoin, commodities, any Internet of Value asset, etc. They will easily and seamlessly use XRP to bridge, most likely even with Interledger Protocol as well. Very interesting. I encourage you guys to read this whole thread, and we'll keep moving. So, I'll just move past this. All right. Right here, so Coinbase, just like I was pointing out, their Coinbase equity saw an average clear price of $373 per share, which would value the firm at $100.3 billion. And of course, even Ripple, I know they're vague with it and have to be cautious and careful with what they say. It seems like Brad does hint that they could potentially or will be IPOing in the future, so just imagine that type of value as well. Now, there's trade-offs for those of you that know. You can raise a lot more money when you go public, but guess what? You lose a lot of that power, and now your shareholders can vote and kind of control you. So I think they're going to get into a good position beforehand, and then if they decide to go public, they'll be able to. Right here, XRP Crypto Wolf. So we have Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and UBS, and other major brokerages have bought the first exchange-traded product in ETP that offers exposure to Polkadot. DOT is the ticker, guys. As you know, it's one of my holdings. It is also available on iTrustCapital. Links are in the top of this video description, where I just have a Roth IRA with this company. I will actually be adding more money from an old IRA into this account shortly. So in the future, when I do want to withdraw my funds, I'm able to do so tax-free entirely. And if I don't want to keep all my funds in crypto and I feel that's really risky after getting a few $1 million in returns, I can always take that money, sell it into USD, and go back into Vanguard or, Fidelity and go into a conservative index fund for the future. But ideally, I'm going to be leaving a chunk to essentially ride for life because you just don't know where the top of this market will be, specifically because this is an emerging asset class. Could you imagine buying Apple, Amazon, 20 years ago, things of that nature? So we'll keep going here. And remember, this is in every pinned tweet and in every YouTube video description. Now, something to note, Goldman Sachs. The majority of RippleNet partners are backed by Goldman Sachs. And, Goldman Sachs has their hand in everybody's cookie jar for that matter. JP Morgan, of course, with JPM Coin trying to do a type of intra-network that is named by the World Economic Forum. And they're involved with everybody, but they essentially are one of the key players of the three that own this entire monopoly over the cross-border market. $155 trillion are sent internationally. And lastly, UBS, a very well-known RippleNet partner, and also they are involved with that other project that many have seen, Utility Settlement Coin. And we've already gone through that. That is not actually a true competitor to XRP in the ecosystem. It still relies on a closed, type of network as well as counterparty risk. XRP actually solves all of those issues. So it's just an issue of trust. It's kind of like just issuing central bank digital currencies today or utilizing JPM's coin. Bank of America may not want to use JPM's coin. Why would you do that? Why don't you just use the dollar? Now there's counterparty risk involved with that, and we're at the same problem we began with. An open landscape for payments will always beat a walled garden or these fragmented silos we have today that David Schwartz essentially explains every single time, and he's the CTO of Ripple. All right? Next, we have XRP Artisan pointing this out. This was on the recent Ripple X blog. So the XRP ledger memory use has been cut by 50%, and he's a software developer, and he knows reducing memory use is one of the best optimizations in the game. So notice that, very exciting. We can keep up to date with that, and you can read more about this at blog.ripplex.io. There's many initiatives working on this. We already know the XRP ledger is one of the greenest blockchains. Now, some people don't think that is so sexy today, but guess what? It will be in the future if you're paying attention to all of these types of net zero initiatives by some of the world's central banks. If you've heard what the UK Prime Minister has even recently said in the goals of the future, they're incentivizing even the tier 1 banks to finally get on board. What do you think happens? Which blockchains are they going to utilize for actual international transfers? Will they be utilizing anything that is a type of proof of work mechanism? Will they utilize proof of stake, which is still very good, but there are some trade-offs? Or will they use proof of consensus developed by the XRP ledger, which in my opinion is one of the best options for this specific use case? And don't even get me started on what Flare Networks can provide. All right, so just kind of reading that earlier. And right here, last but not least, guys, so we have Toho Labs, and I know we're very familiar with them. We also are familiar with them in XRP Toolkit. So as part of our commitment to ensure the long-term health and stability of the XRP ledger, another group working on it, Toho Labs is now operating a validator from, I'm going to butcher all this name, but essentially a former nuclear bunker 30 meters beneath the streets of Stockholm, Sweden. That is so cool. Look at these pictures. And you can see their validator right here. In this PNN, I'm going to butcher that. This data center is owned and ran by one of Sweden's oldest independent internet service providers. That is so cool. They actually provide their validation public key if you want to check that out. And then, scheduling for maintenance in the future. Very, very exciting. You guys can go to their website if you are curious. Right here, look at the team. Of course, we have our man, Vitse Vind, very helpful in the community, always answering questions on Twitter for everybody. Absolute respect. And they're working with Flare Networks, as you can see right here, focusing on Flare and just utility and overall, wallet development and interoperability between these systems. So very exciting. You can go to follow them at Toho Labs, simplifying crypto asset self-custody, which I respect, and development partner for Flare Networks. Very exciting, guys. That is just something to keep an eye on. And remember, if you want to learn more, go to xrpl.org. Be sure to give me a like if you enjoyed this video, and I have a bunch of content I will be bringing out this week. It has been so crazy, and I'm really excited, and all eyes are on the charts. Catch you next time.